What's going on, guys? My name is Nick Rose, and it is finally that time of the year again. I love football. I'm going to wear my jersey every Sunday. In case you didn't know, this is number 21. It is an Ezekiel Elliott jersey. So this week, I was watching Everyday Struggle with Nadeska, DJ Akademiks, and Russ as the guest star. Lately, I've actually started to really like his music. Me You is one of his latest singles, and it's now, I think, double platinum, maybe even triple platinum. I know it's gone platinum at least, and it's a really dope song. I just heard it, and I like it. But after watching this hour-long interview with him, he just rubs me the wrong way, man. He just seems very arrogant, very cocky. The entire time, he wouldn't stop bringing up his ticket sales and how much money he's making, whatever. So before we get into the real topic at hand, let's talk about his story. He's not so similar to a lot of other artists that are really big today. Most guys, they work for 2-3 years and they come up with, a certain single that they may come out with, and then all of a sudden they're huge stars. Maybe even someone like Fetty Wap, who had Trap Queen. He wasn't really rapping for longer. I think it was maybe only a year that he was working prior to that. So Russ actually took 10 years of putting out constant material, mixtapes, EPs, whatever he was doing, and nothing ever really caught on until recently. Over that 10-year span, he did start to garnish a following, and he had more and more fans as time went along, but he really didn't get big until recently, and he just worked at it for 10 years. So you gotta respect the guy's hustle at the very least, his work ethic, and how much work he put into his career to get where he is today. But after all of that, don't you think he'd be a little more gracious and have a bit more humility, just out of sheer appreciation for where he is today and where his hard work has gotten him? So he starts off the show really by bringing up Pigeons and Planes. For those of you who don't know, it's a blog that is helmed under Complex magazine. It seemed like Nadeska and Akademiks actually knew that this was coming. But anyways, he brought up the fact that he emailed them songs and tried to get on their blog for a really long time, dozens and dozens and dozens of emails, and they never actually hit him back. All of a sudden, Russ starts blowing up, and then he gets contacted by Pigeons and Planes. Because of their timing to finally answer him back, he got very bitter. He started this beef with Pigeons and Planes, whatever it was. I didn't really look too much into it because that's not very important for the topic that I'm talking about today, because what I am talking about is his interview on Everyday Struggle. His beef with Pigeons and Planes will be for a later video, but that was a part of his interview. The topic of his beef with them is part of the interview. And what I think Russ didn't realize and doesn't realize is that in hip-hop, you're not really going to get ratings from someone who you don't think has a real following, from someone who you don't think is going to blow up, if we're talking about indie artists coming up from blogs. So at that time, they just didn't really believe in him. I mean, how many artists are there out there? There are dozens, thousands, maybe millions of aspiring hip-hop artists. They can't cover everyone. How many thousands of people do you think email them daily? And at the end of a week, at the end of a month, at the end of a year, they can't pick everybody. There's other people, I'm sure, who are just as persistent as Russ was. But he was very bitter, so after that, the show goes on, everything seems to calm down, and then around the 45-minute mark of the show, he calls out Nadeska. What he says is that he had emailed her to be on the show. This was just before he blew up, I guess, and she told him that they weren't doing guests. His take on the matter actually wasn't true. During the show, they showed the email, which I'll show you guys now, that actually showed Nadeska saying that they were being selective. And during Russ's confrontation to her, that is what she said. She said, I didn't say that we're not taking guests. I said that we were being selective of who we are taking. After she said that, he didn't want to see the email. He didn't want to hear what she was saying. He really didn't care because he just could not admit that he was wrong. He's bitter. He had something against them. and he didn't want to see it any other way. Again, the show goes on, everything's good for a little while, and then at the very last minute, he decides to call out DJ Akademiks, because why not? Get everybody while you're there, right? Too bad Joe Budden wasn't there, because he would have tore Russ apart, man. He would have ripped that guy a new ass. He basically tells DJ Akademiks that he's running a popularity contest and that he shows all these other rappers first week their album sales and streams, but Akademiks didn't show Russ's first week. To my surprise, rather than arguing with him, Akademiks just says, you know what, man, you're right, and I will from now on. And he says, also, I can't post every artist. There's no way that I can post everybody's first week sales, which is true. How could he possibly do that? He would have to sit there all day, every day, doing research, looking at the charts to post every rapper's sales from their first week. There's just no way he could get to everybody. It wasn't some type of sneak diss. He just didn't get to it. Very simple. Then after Russ realizes that he's wrong again for the second time, he basically plays it off like he didn't care. So if you didn't care, why did you bring it up to begin with, man? It just doesn't make sense. Obviously, you cared. If you didn't care about any of this, you wouldn't have brought any of it up. Pigeons and Planes, Nadeska, DJ Akademiks. Why? And as many times as Russ tried to tell us that he's not bitter, that is exactly what he was, is bitter. Maybe it's because it took him so long to come up that everybody who denied him or who didn't pay him the attention he believed he deserved over that 10-year span, now he is bitter towards him. But that's just the name of the game. He knew what he was getting into when he started making mixtapes 10 years ago. So why be bitter now? If anything, just be happy that you're successful and that you finally made it. Just because Russ put in the work and put in hard work, a lot of work, years of work, doesn't mean that he gets a pass for being arrogant. Arrogance is arrogance, and that is the bottom line. I'm not a hater on this guy. I actually like his music. I found him recently, like I said earlier. I listened to Me You. I really liked it. What They Want, I really liked it. Genuinely and thoroughly enjoyed the songs. I've heard a couple other songs from him. Can't think of the titles on the top of my head. I just don't know if I could actually support an artist with this mentality. I don't like his attitude whatsoever, and I don't like that he despises and has such hatred for the industry that he is now such a big part of. That's all I got for today, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.